The bar was set fairly high. When we go on a moose hunt and it's a fly into a lake, it's almost like a holiday. It's literally a life thing. It's not just about hunting in the mountains. It's about a body and a mind that are working optimally. I've never worked out in a gym my whole athletic career. If you train smart and you do the right movement, you can get the same benefit. 9 times out of 10 nowadays, we're sitting on our phone, scrolling through the same useless stuff that we did the day before. Just a different picture today. The famous saying is the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago, and the second best time to plant it is right now. Hey everybody, this is Greg McHale, and you're listening to The Wild Initiative.
Put down your latte and pull on your boots.
Our culture needs people that are leaders and not people that are waiting for somebody else to show them how to do it.
Those fields of tofu, that was formerly habitat for wildlife. You're killing off wildlife by being a vegetarian just as much as a hunter when he kills a deer.
I'm like, well, you see that bush right there? There's your bathroom.
Yeah. My dad wears a Levi jacket. He sits in front of a sagebrush and he tells me the best camo is hold still.
Not that Donnie Vincent is, but be relentless in everything you do. Don't crap out, go back to the truck with excuses or whatever.
Okay, assume I get a deer. How do I cut it up to fit into a Honda Civic?
Just get outside and go, because once you do, it's all gravy from there.
Hey, this is Zach Griffith.
This is Hannah Barron.
This is Jason Phelps of Phelps Game Calls.
Hey guys, this is Cody Rich from the Rich Outdoors Podcast.
What's up guys, this is Chad Mendez.
You're listening to The Wild Initiative.
Hey y'all, welcome to another episode of The Wild Initiative, brought to you as part of the Waypoint Outdoor Collective. All right, y'all, so hopping right into today's episode, excited to have on the line with me today, Greg McHale, host of Greg McHale's Wild Yukon. If you couldn't guess, Greg hosts Greg's show. Greg, thanks so much for joining me on the episode today.
Yeah, Sam, thanks for having me. I really appreciate it. And yeah, I'm excited to be here.
Yeah, you know, as we were kind of talking about earlier, it's just funny how stuff always kind of comes together. That I've had you on my list for a couple of months now to reach out to, and I've been all over the place and haven't been able to reach out. And then suddenly I get a message from you, and so amazing how things work out so unexpectedly. But
yeah, no, it's perfect. I came across your stuff a little while ago, and then I kind of kept in touch, and I said, hey, you know what? I'm going to fire Sam a message. And I think that's just the best way. It's for me, it's just, let's just get out and talk to the dudes and see what's going on. see if we can help anybody out there.
That's my motto with this whole thing. So, you know, one thing I always like to start out with is just a little bit of background about you, you know, who you are, what you do, and really, how did you get introduced to hunting and fishing and the outdoors and this whole thing?
Yeah, I guess so how did I get into the outdoors? I guess a little bit, the background is, unlike yourself, I grew up with it from a very young age. My father was a fisherman and he hunted, and, you know, our family trips we couldn't afford to go on actual family trips. So we just packed up the old car full of tents and sleeping bags and, you know, the cheapest gear that you could possibly have. And we would go drive into Northern Ontario where I grew up. We would spend a week in the bush, that was our holidays. So it was an amazing way to grow up. And I have to give, obviously, my parents are all the credit to kind of get me where I am today as far as the outdoors go. And my dad, actually, he had a hunting, like a hunting television show, fishing show, I would say, in Ontario. It didn't last that long, but it was like on cable TV. So it's interesting that you follow the lead of the people in your life in a lot of ways. And I've certainly followed my dad's lead. And I guess I would maybe have expanded on it a little bit. And I think that's what every parent wants. And, you know, for me, certainly I want my children to be better than me. So, and I'd be proud to see that someday. And hopefully that is the case. And yeah, so that's kind of where it was, is straight from a young age with the family into the outdoors. And I moved out to the Yukon about post university. I left Ontario never to return in a permanent status. I knew the best place in the world, and certainly in Canada, and one of my favorite places in the world to ever hunt is the Yukon. We have so much, so many opportunities to do it. And this is the wildest place in our country. And that's what I was in search of, was adventure and wild places, and just kind of gonna move out west and figure out who I am. And I'm still trying to figure that out.
I think hopefully I'll have it figured out by the time I'm dead, but I'm not holding my breath. I think that's gonna, every time I get it figured out, it seems to completely change. So
yeah, change is a good thing. It's I think that one of the things that those individuals that don't like change, they really struggle. If you're able to take change and on the chin, whether it's good or it's bad, and you just roll with it, you're in a way better place. So yeah, looking for the answer is the way of the future, I think.
So, you move out to the Yukon, you're out there, you're hunting and fishing. What inspired you to start your show?
It was me and a buddy, just, buddy Ryan Leaf. He actually works for Jim Shockey, and he's one of his head guys. And Ryan and I we didn't get to hunt together enough, as much as we would have liked to. Just a great hunter. And we're sitting around a campfire on a moose hunt. And it's just kind of like, man, we should just start our own show. And, as life takes it, Ryan went in, he was in politics at the time. And then, life takes everybody in different directions, but, Ryan works with Jim, and I said, all right, I'm going to do this. So I just kind of made the decision, and had some good people around me for sure. My head videographer, he worked for me in another business, and I saw something in him that he was, physically strong. And I saw something in him, and we went out on a sheep hunt, and it was like, okay, he can shoot video and he can move in the mountains. So now we've got, we've ticked 2 boxes, and then it just started from there. And we never, we just have been hard at it ever since.
So what is, maybe it's obvious to everyone with the name and all, but what's the focus of the show? Tell us a little bit about it.
Well, originally, certainly I started, my background is in, I've done a number of different things. I haven't settled onto one thing for, any long period of time. I used to be a police officer with the Royal Canadian Mounted Police. I did that for about 8 years. But I left that to pursue an athletic career in adventure racing. So I was professional adventure raced for like 10 years, and I raced all over the world. And if you don't know what adventure racing is, it's map and compass navigation on undetermined courses that last from 400 to 1,000 kilometers, typically, were the style of races that we did. So they're nonstop, and they're a team event. So there's 4 people on the team, and you're just, you're going through jungles. You're going, if you're in remote places, Australia, Mongolia, we've raced all over the world in places that, I would have never had the opportunity to see otherwise. And so that's kind of, I wanted to bring that adventure racing, that hard charging, nonstop type attitude that I had during racing into my hunting. So I'm also a pilot. So I have the ability to, have a couple airplanes, and we get to fly into remote places. And then we just start going sometimes, or literally leave from our house. My wife and I, my wife is a tremendous athlete. She's, she has the top 100K record in our country.
Oh, wow.
So she's, most of our sports are heavy endurance, and that's kind of the style of hunting that I like to do. So last year we left, Denise had a sheep tag or sheep permit, and her permit zone was about 75 kilometers from our house. So we decided to, leave from our front door and go cross country to get to the permit, to get to where we started sheep hunting, and then start to sheep hunt from there. So that's really the style of hunting that I really love. Now it is challenging to do, 10 episodes of that style of hunting because they're just so time consuming. Mm-hmm. And they're very difficult on camera guys and, and equipment and.
So how many camera guys do you kill a year?
No, I've brought a few in the past to supplement at points. And it's challenging, but the team that we have is almost been together since the start. So Dave, being the videographer, the lead videographer, and Carl being the lead photographer, and none of us had any experience in this, in photography, videography, or hunting on film before we started this together. So we've created it all, and we've created it in probably, one of the most difficult styles that are out there. So the bar was set fairly high. So anything now for all of us is pretty easy. When we go on a moose hunt and it's a fly into a lake, it's almost like a holiday compared to, say, a sheep, 12, 14 day sheep hunt where you're just hard charging the whole time. And, you got to cover a lot of miles. So yeah, it's just been an absolute blast. I'm having a lot of fun. It's very challenging. Making sure that it's so different when you have to shoot it on film and you're 10 days into a hunt and you've been rained on all the whole time and you still need to go another 20K to hit the next mountain block. But that's what's fun about it. That's the enjoyment and the pain in a lot of ways. For me, maybe the other guys wouldn't necessarily agree, but all the time, but everybody smiles and looks back on what has been created, a year later after everything's edited and cut, and you pretty much always come out with good memories. That's for sure.
Yeah. I feel like, going through something that is as difficult as something like sheep hunting or things like that, or those very rigorous mountain hunts, like you've got to develop very close bonds with the team that's going on something like that with you. And especially, it's no, and this, I don't mean this to sound any sort of derogatory way, but it's like one thing if you're filming a whitetail hunt or something like that. You've got typically a lot more opportunity. There's a lot more action. You're not in this extreme territory unless you're hunting some weird place in Montana for whitetail, which I don't know why you would. It's like, why hike up that mountain face just to get a whitetail? But I feel like it's one thing filming that versus like filming something like a sheep hunt where your options are very, very limited on what you can take, what you're going to see, the weather, the terrain, all of that stuff. Like that has to forge some serious bonds with a team.
Yeah, no, the like when we're in the hills together, we're a pretty dialed, well-oiled machine. It's, the only, and like any business, the only time that we have any breakdowns are typically not in the field. It's typically, in the office. But yeah, it's, I'm out there with two great guys most of the time, with Dave and Carl. And they're good at what they do. And we have certain rules, and one of those rules is no complaining. So there's just zero complaining, because you will get called on it like almost immediately by somebody else on the team. If you start whining about the weather or, it's whatever you wanted to complain about. Because for us and for me, and it's this adventure racing philosophy, is as soon as you have a chink in the armor in these situations that are, there's a lot on the line, right? When we fly in to do a remote sheep hunt, there's the business side of it that's on the line. And if you have a chink in the armor, which can unfold the whole process, it's like, if you're not dialed in, it could do that. But if you throw a chink in the armor with this team, you're going to get called out real quick and you're never going to do it again. So, and one of the reasons why, why I love hunting with these guys, and, I definitely do other hunts that are not all that hard charging, because I get to hunt with my dad, and my dad is 74 and he's taken a sheep. He's taken 3 sheep now, and I think all in his 70s. So, and this past season, I hunted sheep with him and my 7-year-old son. So it was kind of a 3-generation hunt. So you take the foot off the throttle a little bit for sure. and just, you put yourself in the best situation that you can harvest a ram, and you just take it a little bit slower and enjoy it a bit. And last year, on that hunt in particular, was really special, because it was something that since my son was born, I've been thinking about, how great it would be to get my dad a sheep on a hunt with him. And, you just don't know how the years go by. And, your father, my father's not getting younger. His attitude is still young. So that's such a huge part of it. And that was a special hunt for me. And that's, so they're not all hard charging. So whenever I can get out with friends and my dad, when I can, it's a little bit more laid back.
So, you do have kind of a unique background that is very suited to, as we discussed, very suited to some of these kind of hard charging, balls to the wall hunts, if you will. What, I feel like there's these 2 schools of thought. It so often it feels like there's nobody in the in between. There's this whole group of people that's like, you have to be in peak physical condition and you have to be able to squat and run miles and do this to be able to go hunting. And then there's the other group that's like, all I eat is Little Debbie's all day long, and that's what I survive on in the mountains. And it feels like people take it to such extremes. And I'm kind of in the middle where I'm like, okay, yeah, you don't have to be in the best, peak physical condition to go hunting, but it sure isn't going to hurt. And on these mountain hunts, and especially these extreme hunts, you're going to have a lot better of a time and a lot higher chance of success to do that. What are your thoughts as far as physical fitness when it comes to hunting, the mountains, and all of that?
It's an interesting question, but more of the question is not when it comes to mountain hunting necessarily. I can go down, I can talk about the mountain hunting part all day long, but it's when it comes to physical fitness and nutrition, it's a life thing. It's literally it's a life thing. It's not, it's not just about hunting in the mountains. It's about having a body and a mind that are working optimally to give you the best opportunity, not just in the hunting, but in life. If you're not physically fit, if you're eating shitty food, excuse my language, if you're not putting the best things in your body, then the question is really why? Is it laziness? Is it because these things, the food that I eat tastes good and I don't like, things that I don't like? So, that's the fundamentals of it for me. And the way I just look at life is I want to live as long as I possibly can. I want to be as physically active as long as I possibly can, because those things will provide me more pleasure, lifelong experiences. And ultimately, life is about being happy. If you can wake up every morning and you're happy and you're excited to get after the day, that's where we want to be. It doesn't matter whether you get to do a sheep hunt, you ever can afford to do a sheep hunt, you can afford to live in a fancy house. Those are not the things that we look back on in life and go, oh man, I'm sure glad that I, drove a Ferrari. You look back in life and you go, man, I am sure glad that I took care of my health so that I could contribute to society, that I could be a great husband, be a great father. And, just have a long, happy, healthy life. So that's a bit of a rant. But when it comes literally to mountain hunting, I am definitely so that indicates I'm on the side of health, physical benefits, not because of just the hunting, but because of everything else it provides you in life. And then when you take that into the mountains, like all of a sudden, this landscape is completely open to you. Like if you're not fit and you get to a top of a mountain and then you look across the valley, that valley looks like it's 50 miles wide. If you're fit, that valley looks like, oh, it's just drop down off this hill, cross the creek, and then back up the other side. That's what it looks like. And when if you're looking to, harvest an animal in that situation, if you glass something off and it looks like it's just too far because you physically can't get there, well, like you've probably let down not just yourself, but you probably let down the other people that you're with, unless you, of course, you go with somebody that's in worse shape than you. And that's often what people do. They just pick a teammate or a partner that is in worse shape than they are so that they don't have to feel bad when their partner quits. There's a million reasons to quit on a mountain hunt. And if you haven't done the physical preparation and you're eating garbage food, then, you've just set yourself up for failure before you even started. And that doesn't make any sense to me.
It's funny. I do a lot of solo hunting, and I realized a while back, I've been invited on a lot of hunts with people. I've had a lot of opportunity that I've either kind of let fall by the wayside, I should say. And some of it, I think, I don't want to admit it to myself, but some of it, I think, has to do with the fact that I'm in decent enough shape. I can fairly well handle myself on the mountain, but I never want to be the reason, why I'm slowing someone else down. That thought horrifies me. And I think that's not a good reason, but that's a good portion of my reason why I solo hunt so much, is that there's a part of me that's nervous about not being able to keep up with someone else and holding them back. Yeah. Because I know, I'm just going to throw it out there. I'm kind of a garbage hunter. I am not a great hunter. And so the other portion is, as far as it aligns with physical fitness, is like you said, I never want to because again, I don't have a lot of experience. I'm not great at this. I don't want to lose an opportunity at an animal solely because I don't want to drop down into that valley. I don't want to lose an opportunity on an animal because I'm panting so hard getting up this hill that I'm tromping through the woods because I can barely stand upright. I want to be in good enough physical shape to where I can take advantage of whatever opportunity presents itself, because my opportunities might be a little more limited than some other people that know better what they're doing. And I think that's super critical, is being in good enough shape to capitalize on as many opportunities as possible.
Yeah, that's a perfect way to put it. Like I said, there are enough ways not to be successful that if you don't put every advantage that you can into the toolbox when you head into the mountains, then, you're doing yourself a disservice. And there are, there's lots of hunts that, guided hunts that you can go on in Canada and in the Yukon here that, you can fly in and people can do a lot of the groundwork for you, and you get on a horse or you helicopter in, and, you can if you have enough money, you can take a sheep with a helicopter, land you on top of the hill, you walk across the ridge, you wait your whatever amount of time, sit in the tent, listen to your tunes, and, walk out and, shoot one. It is possible, but for me, there's very little gratification in that style. Now, having said that, I use aviation to my advantage all the time, but I use it to my advantage because the only reason I got a pilot's license and bought airplanes was to hunt. Like, is the only reason, is to be able to get back into the wildest places and, and just be on my own with the team and pursuing the goal. So yeah, it's this hunting and different people's perspectives on what you should or shouldn't be doing. And my perspective isn't on the health and fit, or you should eat right and exercise because you want to go and harvest a sheep in the hills or an elk on the mountain, whatever. You should just eat right and exercise because you want to live a long, healthy life and contribute to the people around you. And then the added benefit is you will just crush it in the mountains.
See, though, I'll tell you, I'm sure there's other people out there like me, though, that it's all well and good to think about, like, yeah, I need to eat healthy and exercise and be fit to better enjoy life. But sometimes it's just not a tangible thing for a lot of people. And that's a lot of time. That's what it is for me. I've always been the type of person where I need a little more motivation to make myself uncomfortable. My butt really likes this chair, And so sometimes, I know I should be eating better, but having a healthy, longer life, my 70s seems pretty damn far away. But it's not far away. Spring bear season. No, it's not far away. September elk season. And it's such a tangible thing. And I think that's part of the reason why people focus on it so much. And, in the grand scheme of things, living a long, healthy life is the great benefit. That's the package, and the hunting's tertiary. But in the immediate timeline, no, that hunting, that ability to hunt and get up on the mountain and be effective on the mountain, that's a lot more tangible, I think, for some people.
See, and everybody has to find that point. That what do you need to motivate you to go down that path? And it doesn't matter whether it's, like, for me, it's a long, healthy life, or whether it's that spring bear hunt in 2 months. It's the thing is, once you make that decision, you believe that you need to do it because you want to be fit out there. So then you make the decision. It's moving that to action and not just talk. Is it motivating enough, that spring bear hunt, to get you or me off the couch to be able to get out and take action on what we know we should do? Like, we all know it's the difficulty of it. And I've spent my life pursuing difficult situations to do exactly what you're describing, is to figure out, what do I need to do? And I know that I need to put myself in difficult situations in order to figure out who I am, to stay motivated, to keep on top of the game. Right. So it's everyone has a different motivator, and sometimes it could be, and often it's those close ones that work for most people. And that's why we have goals. The goal is, I want to go out and get a bear this spring. Okay, well, what do I need to do? Well, time to put the bag of chips away and get off the couch. But it's going from...
Well, hold on a minute there, Greg. That's body shaming. It's 2021 now. We're all about body positivity. Everyone's healthy regardless of your body type. Come on now, man. What are you talking about?
Guess what? Body shaming time. We're going to rename this. This is Body Shaming with Greg McHale. That's what we're going to do podcast.
I always have to come up with like the creative title for the podcast. That we might have to work body shaming in there.
Yeah, that is a whole. I mean, it just hurts my head to think about the society and what's going on. So we.
I think I just broke you.
Thank you for the laugh.
Oh man.
That's good.
So what are some things, simple things, maybe to someone that wants to get into hunting and they're a sucker like me and they fell for that romantic mountain hunting picture where you're like, I want to hit the hills. And I know I get winded walking upstairs right now. What can people start doing? Now's the time for people to start preparing for, there's still some time to get into shape for some late spring season hunting, but especially now's when you need to start to get ready for those mountain hunts come September.
Yeah. The famous saying is the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. And the second best time to plant it is right now. Starting. See one of the great things that I've utilized over the last lot of years is I've made the decision to get up early in the morning. Like before, like I used to, when I was a police officer, I was training at a high level, but I didn't, I would get up and I would run to work. But prior to that, I would just get up in time to shake the cobwebs off and put your clothes on and walk out the door half in a fog. And I think that that's what most people do. So one of the greatest things that I started in my life that has had such a huge impact, Sam, and I think anybody can do it, is I made a conscious effort to go to bed earlier and get up earlier, because I found, and I know that there are some people, night owls. But I've found that my productivity is so poor in the evening, and it's so easy to just sit in front of the TV and watch your favorite show, watch Greg McHale's Wild Yukon or something like that. And just let the
nice, very subtle plug. I like it.
Right. No, but really if people shut Greg McHale's Wild Yukon off and went and exercised, I would be the happiest dude on the planet. If nobody watched my show because everybody that started went and exercised, then I'm doing the right thing.
Shut off Greg McHale's Wild Yukon, put in your headphones, listen to the Wild Initiative podcast, and go do your exercise.
Totally. If you're motivated from watching the show to go and exercise, that's the sweet spot. And throw the Wild Initiative on. Do it.
We are so subtle with these plugs. I mean, nobody could ever tell.
I'm getting better at marketing. It was no. So yeah, to really the reality back to where what I believe is a foundation is shutting off the TV, going to bed earlier, getting off the social media. Go to bed a little bit earlier, but get up earlier. And when you get up with a purpose. Like my schedule and having a routine is so important. If you can build a healthy routine, it becomes non-negotiable. It just becomes normal part of your day. And that's what you need to have long-term success with your food and your nutrition and your health. So I wake up in the morning at 4:30 every morning. Okay. I go to my clothes are already laid out from the night before, my gym clothes. I get changed. I go to the kitchen. I drink, 800 mils, a liter of water. And then I go to the gym downstairs.
You are so Canadian. You keep referring to kilometers and liters. Dear Lord. I just had to say something. I'm just saying.
So a gallon of water. No, not a gallon.
We drink quarts. We drink quarts and run miles out here. This is America.
A quart of water. There you go. It's so yeah, that's kind of my routine. And I get down to the gym and I work out. I get everything done for me before my day starts. And then I go into the day with energy. I can just crush the day. But and that's really when you start the day off with getting the blood moving and getting that exercise out of the way. If you're a morning person at all, it's very powerful. And that would be my first suggestion.
Have you ever read the book Atomic Habits? I think it's James Clear.
No.
It's literally
I can't read, by the way.
Oh yeah. Oh, there you go.
No,
is that a Canadian? Is that a Canadian thing?
No, I'm just not fast.
There's a book called Atomic Habits by author James Clear, and it talks a lot about what you do. There's another book that I read recently, and I'm just blanking on the name, and I'll have to post it up in the show notes page once I remember the name of it. But it's about building your perfect morning and daily schedule. And one of the things, I've talked a lot of with other people about this is people worry about, you build out your schedule, you like schedule out your day, like do block scheduling, however you do it, whatever your tool is. You're like, oh, but that leaves no opportunity for me to like take on spontaneous things or do this. It's like, it's going to control my life and I won't have any freedom. It's just the opposite. It is wild how much time that opens up for you, because building those little habits. That's what Atomic Habits about, is turning something from like a chore into a habit effectively. So things like getting up in the morning, whether it's working out or drinking your water or making your bed, all of that stuff. It teaches you tricks and how to effectively reprogram your brain to develop those good habits, those morning schedules, and those things you want to become second nature. Yep. And that's, I have a very similar, I've been lazy the past couple of weeks. I need to switch things back on, and actually come the end of this month, I need those like nice starting points to get my brain started on something. So end of this month, I'm back on my morning schedules. And so, but yeah, I used to do very similar. My alarm would go off at 4:00. I'd be up and making the bed. That's one of those things. It's like the oldest trick in the book. I mean, how many people have told you make your bed first thing in the morning, and it gives you that immediate victory. You've done something, and it clears out those cobwebs. You're waking up with a purpose. You're doing something, and it is so stinking simple. You don't have to get anything. You don't have to go anywhere. You just turn around, pull the sheets up. It doesn't even have to look pretty. Just pull the sheets up.
It's the psychological win and it's every morning you start your day off with little wins. Mm-hmm. And those little wins just become big wins throughout the day. And yeah, every day you start off, like every day I do things right. And I start my day off like you are, with a win. Like, how many people start their day off with not having any direction, and then they take that all the way? All they know is they got to get out the door to get to work. That's the most direction that they've got. And then they get to work, and there's just, well, things are going to come at them and they're going to deal with it. When you, like you just said, when you block your day and you schedule out what you're going to do, then you have direction and you have a purpose. You must get this done. And then that you have a direction throughout the whole day, and you start it in the morning. I start it the night before. My next day starts the day before by laying out my clothing, so I don't have to think about it the next morning. Mm-hmm. All I got to do is go.
See, that's such a huge thing right there, because it does two things. One, it removes a decision you have to make when you're not fully there, and it also removes an obstacle. That's one of the things they talk about in Atomic Habits, is you remove all the obstacles to get done the things you need to do. So say you're working out, like when I would set up my workouts when I'd want to work out in the morning, I would, I'd do some like online courses. Like I had my stuff that I do on my own, but then I don't want to call them online courses, but like some video training sessions and different stuff and classes.
I know something about that.
And so, and so I would queue those up. I would stack them. I'd pick the ones that I wanted to do that week, rather than, okay, it's time for my workout. Which one do I want to do? Let's scroll through these, spend half an hour doing that. Right. And then I got to go mix up my pre-workout. And okay, do I want the shirt that says nobody cares, work harder, or do I want the suck less shirt this morning? Suddenly you're like, I'm just going to screw it. I'm just going to make some coffee. You do that all the night before. You throw out your workout clothes. You take that pre-workout, you mix it in, you shake it up, and you leave it in the fridge or whatever. Leave it on the counter. You pre-cue those classes. You get your towel hanging from your weight bench. Whatever you need to do. So literally, all you have to do is walk downstairs, press a button, start your workout. It's so critical you do that stuff.
Doing that the night before, because like, what are you going to be doing anyways? 9 times out of 10 nowadays, we're sitting on our phone, scrolling through the same useless stuff that we did the day before. Just a different picture today. And if we set ourselves up for success by making those decisions the night before, then we're also not just wasting our time. And that's what it's about. A big thing for me is time it's the one thing that none of us are going to can make more of. You can make more money, but you can't make more time. And I look at my life and go, how can I maximize the time that I'm here right now? And am I doing things that are moving me forward, or am I doing things that are just, cruise control? And cruise control to me is like death. The life on cruise control is probably the worst scenario that I can imagine, where I just went through it and it was okay. But no, it's the time that we have, maximizing it and being the best that we can be and contributing the most to the people around us. That's kind of what time is for me. It's just changing your perspective on what your life is and what you want to achieve in your life. And I had to do that, or I did that a number of years ago, and it really works.
It's funny. I let a lot of stuff go. Like, people can give me crap, insult me, whatever. I let it roll off my back. The one thing that I struggle to forgive people for is wasting my time. That is the one thing, because you can't make more time, and it's the most valuable commodity to me. I run my own business. I run this podcast. I have all of these. I collect hobbies. I'm always doing stuff. So wasting my time is like the biggest sin on earth to me. And if I don't forgive somebody else for wasting my time, but I waste my own time all damn day long, looking at social media, not maximizing this stuff, hitting that snooze button an extra time. How many hours do I waste every given week? If I get so mad at other people, I need to be getting mad at myself. And that needs to be my real impetus for change. That needs to be my real motivator. Pissed off at myself.
Yeah, we make that change within ourselves, and the sky is the limit. Just think of if we, and I do it too. Like it's everybody does it. It's just to what level you do it, right? Some of us do it at a lesser level than others. But if we all could add another hour of day of productivity, it's 7 hours a week. It's another full day of work. And literally you can pull an hour out of your day. Anyone at any time can pull an hour out of their day and be more productive. There might be like less than 0.1% of the people on the planet that can't, because they're just at a different level and they're very strict, but most of us can. And if we do, you just become that much better.
So, what would you recommend as far as like, okay, I need to start moving forward. But where do you start? Where do you go from here?
It's such a great question, but such a challenging one to answer, because there is so much information out there, and we're just inundated and bombarded with different and conflicting opinions on health and nutrition. And, so, for me, I can only give what I know, what has worked for me, not my whole life, because I didn't use proper nutrition. Probably when I was at the peak of my athletic career, I could have done a better job nutritionally. Physically, I was training 25 hours a week. Training was really good, was really on point for for the sport that I was doing. But as I got older, and this is a thing about time, is that as you get older, things degrade. Like everything that lives degrades as it gets older. And when I realized that, man, I'm having trouble competing at the same level by doing the same things. So I need to change something up. I need to, I'm forced to look for different options. So that's when I really started to look toward the food. Now, I don't race professionally anymore, but a big part of that is because I've moved, business has become very important to me, and I'm loving what I'm doing. So the business has taken a lot more of my time, but nonetheless, I'm as strong physically as I was probably at my prime. Now injuries happen easier. So that's one of the things that, recovery time is just longer, but it starts with the decision and the belief that you have to want to get better. You have to want what is your why? Like, why do you want to be physically better? And if your why is strong enough, then you will, and you believe that you can, you must decide to do it. And then it's really, what is the best route for you? And that's what you're asking. And I believe it's a foundation of endurance, athletics with body movement. You don't need a gym. If you're just looking at health, if you want to be the top athlete in a certain sport, of course you need to be very sport specific. But if we're talking about, mountain hunting and being physically strong to be able to carry a pack, or just be physically strong to walk through the day. If, the old lady falls down on the street in front of you, and you can pick her up and carry her to the car, or carry her to wherever. These are the kind of functioning body movements that we need to have. And the foundation of that is a cardiovascular ability to be able to go for, a half an hour to an hour of moderate effort. And you need to be able to be physically capable of and strong. Now, you can get that capability through body movements, and whether it's push-ups, whether it's burpees, whether it's and with minimal amounts of weights, and you don't need to have a gym to do it. And that's been I've never worked out in a gym my whole athletic career because I haven't had to. It's because if you train smart and you do the right movements, you can get the same benefit. Unless of course you're trying to be, you get your max bench up there. Of course, that's not what I've ever been trying to do. So yeah. And then additionally to that, it's nutrition. Like a six pack is created in the kitchen, not in the gym. It's about the food that you put in the body. I look at the body as a machine, just like a high performance car. You put good fuel in it, you put the best oil in it, and it just works for longer. You put garbage in, you get garbage out. And I look at the body as just a machine. Everything else that controls the body is inside your head, right? So it's proper nutrition, and this is where I differ from a lot of guys that are out there, in especially in our world, is that it's minimal amounts of meat, minimal amounts of red meat, and really it's plant-based. Whole food is probably 90% of my diet. Any meat that I do eat is what I've killed. And it's in small portions, because I know that this is the optimum fuel to put in the machine to get out optimum results. So yeah, my wife is very, educated, and she's dedicated her whole life to, nutrition and athletics. And she's the driving force in our family behind the food changes that we've made. Because otherwise I would just be sitting down to half a plate of, moose steaks and not performing at my optimum. Like, I mean, that's just the way it is. I would be. And understanding the body and what it needs and requires to be the best that it can be. And when you take away your thoughts and your, we often have these foods that we love to eat, and we're passionate about the foods, and they give us, endorphin rush in our brain, and we keep feeding that, right? Whether it's sugars or, fats or whatever. But when you make the decision that I want to be where I want to be. I don't have to be the best in the world. I don't have to, look like Sam. I don't have to look like Greg. I just want to be the best that I can be. And when we make the decision to be the best that we can be, we have to look at, okay, well, what do I need to do? And sometimes it sucks. It's hard eating good, eating healthy. It sucks. Sometimes it doesn't taste great, and that's the whole part of being able to deal with difficult situations in your mind, and not going and saying, I'm just going to have the burgers and fries. Like, you know what? I'm not having that salad today. I'm just going to have the burgers and fries because it makes me feel good. Well, it makes you feel good for now. But ultimately, if your goal is to be healthier, then you need to really look at your nutritional intake. And Denise and I have been working really hard to kind of build out what we feel is really creates a power player. And so we're excited about putting this, fitness nutrition program together, because we really believe that it can change people's lives. And there's some motivational things that have to go along with it, that, people have to understand that it's not going to be easy. And this journey is hard, but life is hard. And, whether you're trying to start a business or whether you're trying to get fit, like nobody's going to do it for you, but there's tools out there that can really help. And surrounding yourself with people that believe in you and that want to help you is the best way to start.
So when can we expect to see some of these programs coming out from you and the wife?
Yeah. Well, the game plan is to, if all the logistics, it'll be this spring. So we're really, really looking forward to it. And my why is like, why do I have a hunting show? Why am I so passionate about fitness and nutrition? It's because, it's great to have people watch the show or follow along and be inspired or be motivated to, maybe one day I can do a mountain hunt, or I would love to go on a moose hunt or something. That's great. But really my why is to give back. I've spent a lot of time in my life, taking and being very self-centered and self-focused. And as I get older, I start to realize that, man, like it was great. I don't regret the things that I did for me, because they built the machine that I am. But now I really feel that as I'm approaching 50, I need to contribute something to people's lives. And if I can contribute something more than entertainment and something on a tangible level that they can take away and go, you know what? I used to eat burgers and fries, 3 times a week. And now I do it once a week, and I'm feeling better. I'm feeling stronger, and I'm a nicer person, and I'm a happier person. That's ultimately what my life's goal is now. And it's always been my wife's goal. And she's just a far better person than I am. It just takes me, and maybe I'm just a regular dude. It just takes us guys a little bit longer to catch up sometimes.
Hey man, that's the goal. Marrying up. That's the goal for all of us, right?
Yeah. I definitely did that.
Awesome. Well, if folks wanted to follow along with the adventures, where can they find you online?
Everything is Greg McHale's Wild Yukon, whether it's YouTube. We're on the Sportsman channel as far as any new episodes that come out. We come out in July. That'll be season 5. Or we're producing season 5. And yeah, it's everything is Greg McHale's Wild Yukon, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. And hopefully I'm contributing and I'm providing content that actually people can look at and feel that it's valuable.
Awesome. Well, I will make sure to link to those on the show notes page. Really glad we finally got to connect and lay down this episode.
Yeah. Thanks, Sam. I really appreciate your time, and thanks for having me.
All right, y'all, that'll do it for this episode of The Wild Initiative. Big thank you to Greg for joining me on the podcast today. Y'all, make sure you take a moment, keep an eye out on Greg's socials. He is going to be giving away a Yukon moose hunt guided by him. And y'all, it has an incredible prize package. We're talking a Gunworks rifle with Vortex optics, a full Kuiu camo package, and a ton more. So it should be popping up any day right now on his website and social. Make sure you keep an eye out for that. Y'all check out the show notes page for links to all of that. But y'all, that'll do it for this week. Looking forward to next time. But until then, I hope this episode inspired you to get involved, get outdoors, and plan your initiative for the wild.
Thank you for listening to The Wild Initiative. Please take a moment to leave a rating and review on iTunes or Stitcher, and head on over to thewildinitiative.com to get show notes, check out the blog, gear discounts, other podcasts from the Wild Initiative family, and more.